Charlie. He's working for the money today, and we'll have more from Charlie Pellet coming up at the top of the hour. I mean, he's always working for the money. It's the voice of Wall Street we're talking about, and the New York subway. Charlie Pellet, live from New York. Not a great session here as we consider what's happening in Iran. And I want to just let you know what we have coming up in our second hour, about 20 minutes away from our conversation with retired General Wesley Clark. We'll also get an update from Jeff Mason, Bloomberg White House correspondent, as we welcome our global television audience to the conversation. It's the day after for Kristi Noem, I guess for Mark Wayne Mullen as well. Two pretty different scenarios here and two pretty different politicians as the President of the United States reassigns Secretary Noem to a new role. What is this, the Shield of the Americas, James? Was that the... Nobody's ever heard of this. It'll be introduced this weekend. Something that presumably came out of a Marvel movie. Mark Wayne Mullen, on the other hand, he's going to hang it up as the senator from Oklahoma and run DHS. And it's been amazing reading about Mark Wayne Mullen because everyone reaches for the same line. Mullen, comma, known to be a fighter, comma. I actually put it in Google, and it turns out that he is not just a fighter, he's a black belt. He's like an MMA guy. Did you guys know this? Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He has a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. So he could kill you with his bare hands. By the way, has a 5-0 record and was in fact inducted into the Oklahoma Wrestling Hall of Fame in 2016. I wonder if Sean O'Brien knew that when they almost came to blows in the hearing room. I'll tell you what, you want to talk about Mark Wayne Mullen, the fighter. He even took his ring off do you remember this? The head of the Teamsters was up there testifying, Sean O'Brien, and he had been kind of trolling Mullen online on social media, talking about him. And well, Mullen had just about heard enough, as Bernie Sanders, the chair of that committee, realized a bit too late. Remember this? This is just a couple of years ago.
Sir, this is a time, this is a place. You want to run your mouth, we can be two consenting adults. We can finish it here.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt up.
Oh, hold on.
Big guy.
Oh, stop it.
Is that your solution, every Republican?
No, sit down.
The ring's off.
Sit down. Okay. You're a United States Senator.
You're an embarrassment. You're an embarrassment.
Look, after
An embarrassment to the state of
this
Oklahoma.
hearing is about the condition of the working class in America. That's why we're talking.
You're the biggest thug here.
Listen, if you're with us on 92.9, you know well you don't pick a fight with a kid from Dorchester, but Mullen did. And we assemble our political panel to talk about, well, the political fallout. Jeannie Shanzano is with us, our, of course, Bloomberg Politics contributor and democracy visiting fellow at Harvard Kennedy School's Ash Center. Rick Davis at World Headquarters in New York, Republican strategist and partner at Stone Court Capital. Rick, I wouldn't, I guess, want to meet Mark Wayne Mullen in a dark alley. This all developed while we were on the air yesterday, by the way, and Rick has weighed in a bit here. I'm just wondering what comes next for him, if this is going to be an accelerated confirmation process, if he's as good as got the job, Rick.
Yeah, I think the accelerated process is important because you don't want any lapse of leadership at an important agency like this, especially one that's been shut down for almost 20 days. The reality, too, is he should be able to get senatorial courtesy and fast track through the nomination process. That would be typical. Obviously, he's a bit of a firebrand, as you just indicated, and Democrats should probably put up a pretty vociferous opposition to him. But at the end of the day, this is a done deal, and I think you'll probably see this move pretty quickly.
You might have heard he's a fighter, Jeannie. What will Democrats do in that confirmation hearing?
Joe, my head is still reeling from that intro you just gave. Let's just say about his confirmation hearing, it goes through the Department of Homeland Security, chaired by one Senator Rand Paul, who Mark Wayne Mullen recently called a freaking snake. And so there should be fireworks, not only from the Democrats, but we may see some from the Republicans as well. to your point, that is how most of us around the country outside of Oklahoma first got to know him, was in this very odd Bernie Sanders refereed fight with O'Brien that didn't come to blows. But good news, Joe, they made up. Donald Trump, the peacemaker he is, brought them together. As we remember, because we all were there, O'Brien spoke at the Republican convention, not at the Democratic. So all's well. I hear even O'Brien yesterday made a statement mildly supporting Mullins. So I think from that perspective, it was just two guys in a Senate committee having a brawl. And I think that Democrats are going, Democrats are going to, you know, they will put up a fight, but I think he's likely to get through this. But I don't know that it's going to change much in terms of the shutdown in terms of DHS.
Well, you know, these guys are fast friends now. As CC said, he respects a worthy opponent. There's no better way than to make friends with a fighter than to get in a fight with him, right? So here we have the Teamsters leader actually endorsing this idea, which is fantastic. Sean O'Brien offering unexpected praise for Markwayne Mullins' nomination to lead the Department of Homeland Security. They're fast friends now. They had like a beer summit or something. And there are big questions about what happens to the seat. And this is really what I'd like to get into with the two of you. What happens to Mullins' seat? And what happens to Kristi Noem? Because we understand that the governor, Kevin Stitt, will appoint an interim senator, and per state law, Rick, that person must pledge not to run for a full term in November. How is this all going to shake out?
Yeah, you're going to have a group of people probably vying to, on both the Republican and the Democratic side, to jump into this race. There's still time to get into the primaries in Oklahoma. So, you know, the timing is good. None of these campaigns will have raised any money or positioned themselves with the voters yet. So it'll be a fast track to a primary. But somebody will be a caretaker that'll sit through that seat until January 2027. And you'll have a knockdown, drag-out fight. Highly likely a Republican will prevail because Oklahoma is a solidly red state. But the primary may not be, that interesting unless Donald Trump doesn't endorse, but likely he'll find someone he wants, he'll endorse him, and that person will win the primary.
Interesting. Speaker Johnson, Jeannie, told reporters yesterday that Governor Stitt promised him not to tap a House Republican. We can't lose anyone right now, was the quote. And I'm curious, to be honest with you, as to why he would want this job. He's the United States Senator. He seems to be very well regarded on Capitol Hill as not only a team member for Republicans, but a negotiator, Jeannie. He's been negotiating between the two chambers and between Republicans and Democrats. He talked about during the shutdown sitting down at Democrats' kitchen tables and having fruitful conversations with them. But when I heard him talk about the challenges that Kristi Noem faced in the job, it made me think, well, why would he want this? Listen to Markwayne Mullins on the steps of the Capitol yesterday.
She was tasked to do a very difficult job, and I think she has performed the best she can do underneath the circumstances. Is there always lessons to be learned? You know, listen, my wife and I, we have, over the years, we have been fortunate enough to purchase companies and grow our companies, and every day there's something you can do better. And so I think there's an opportunity to build off successes, and there's also opportunities to build off things that maybe didn't go quite as planned.
Well, there's going to be a lot that comes with this job, Jeannie. Is this a promotion? I mean, I guess he's joining the cabinet, but why do you leave a Senate seat for this?
Yeah, and let's just underscore what Johnson said. Literally, he can't afford to lose one seat. That is quite literal for Johnson. And, you know, Mullin is very close, by all accounts, to Donald Trump. And here is a guy who went from being an MMA fighter and a plumber owning his own plumbing company into politics about 15 years ago, and just this stratospheric rise and in political realm, finding himself as a senator of the United States. I think it's very, very tough for anybody to say no to the president when called on. So absolutely, I have no question that he, when the president called, he was there and willing to do what he can and what he's asked to do. I think there is a little bit of, it's a little bit ingenuous of the White House to suggest that, for instance, on this $220 million, Yellowstone Taylor Sheridan style campaign that Kristi Noem had, that they just didn't know about it. This thing had been out for a year. The president is featured prominently in it. So I think a lot of this has to do with discomfort with Kristi Noem, and not just coming from Donald Trump personally, but from Stephen Miller, who late last year was making that clear in terms of her spending. And so they want somebody to do their bidding. And I think that is what's most troubling about this. It has very little to do with change of ICE tactics or ICE strategies or the killing of Renee Good and the killing of Pretti. It has to do with a replacement of somebody who blamed her boss publicly for wasteful spending and has done other things, and they want her out. But Markwayne Mullin is going to find himself having to execute on the same really unpopular ICE tactics that she was, with absolutely no, willingness on the part of the White House beyond the body cameras to pull back on that.
Hey, Rick, Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana, who played a big role in leading us to this moment following his questioning of Kristi Noem in the hearing earlier this week, said Donald Trump called him after the hearing. The president was not a happy cowboy, the senator said. I remember thinking, this is such classic John Kennedy, I remember thinking the secretary, quote, pretty much as dead as fried chicken, unquote. What's going to happen to Kristi Noem? What is this new job real, or is this a way of sunsetting her as a member of the administration?
Yeah, I'm sure some interesting person in the White House said, "Oh, well, we can't just fire her. We've got to give her an exit plan." So they concocted this scenario for the Western Summit Shield. Who knows what that's going to be, and it probably doesn't really matter that much. Maybe she's going to wind up running Venezuela. Who knows? But at the end of the day, all eyes are on Markwayne Mullin. And look, I mean, this is an agency that's in dire need of help, right? They need new leadership. They need new direction. They need new funding. I mean, this is a severe test of leadership that he's going to face. And I don't know if his appointment will break the log jam of funding for an agency like this that has been, frozen in time. But we can hope that this is the kind of thing that'll get everything back on track and create some kind of an outcome where people can get paid and new policies can be pursued, not just to meet Donald Trump's administration's agenda, but also to build confidence with the American public that the agency's not against American citizens.
Sounds kind of painful, to be honest. Jeannie, Democrats say that this doesn't change anything for them when it comes to DHS funding, that he needs to still make good on demasking and judicial warrants. He's not about to change his tune on that, is he?
He's not. We've seen no sign of that. And I think that is what's troubling. Although Senator Blumenthal, prior to the firing, said, well, if she was removed, it might be easier for us to negotiate. So maybe there's something there, but I still think it's going to have to be substantial. And Joe, by the way, can we just agree that this was some redemption for little Cricket, the puppy that Kristi Noem killed, 14-month-old? And, Cricket needed to see his day. And thank goodness for Donald Trump and Stephen Miller, a bit of redemption for the little puppy.
Say his name, Jeannie. Say it out loud. With apologies to little Cricket. Jeannie Shanzano and Rick Davis will be back in our second hour as we welcome our global television audience to the conversation. Tyler Kendall's on the way in too. Let's get to it. One more hour on Balance of Power, only on Blue.